towards the world of sports, food, and entertainment, and away from the things that are probably more important. We apologize for nothing and anything that may be spoken, learned, or forgotten today. This is the Real Tree Shaker Show.
Hello, and welcome to the Real Tree Shaker Show. I'm Ryan.
That's right. Sloth is in for tea. It's been a while since we pressed that button.
A long time. Too long.
I'm Sean, and we are back. We took a little hiatus, but that's okay. You know, Everybody else had a spring break. You know, why can't we?
Sure.
Life has events that we have to take care of, and our good buddy T is taking care of one, but he is mending and getting better, and he will be back shortly. But Ryan, my man, good to see you. It's been a while.
Good to see you too. Yes.
Yeah.
T will be back shaking some trees in no time.
Yes. Oh yeah. He's just soaking up information, getting ready for you, the people.
Yes.
So with that, last night we concluded college basketball, but let's go back to the night before when the NCAA Women's Championship was decided between South Carolina and Iowa.
Yes.
Caitlin Clark against the undefeated Gamecocks.
Yeah.
Ryan, what are your thoughts? How much of the game did you catch?
Probably about a little more than half, probably, of it. You know, it was the most watched women's tournament of all time. Obviously, a lot of star power with Caitlin Clark, you know, and, you know, a lot of the other teams, you know, Angel Reese, things like that. A lot of star power in women's basketball this season. They're going to definitely have to replace those two ladies, and it's going to be tough. But, yeah, I thought it was a good tournament overall, man. I really like the Iowa UConn game on Friday night. I thought that was an awesome game. It was one of the best women's basketball games I've seen, and you know, Paige Beckers and Caitlin Clark.
Million.
It was an awesome game, man. It was an awesome game against, you know, the powerhouse that is UConn, as you know, we'll talk about later, and you know, Caitlin Clark and her quest to finally win a championship, but yeah, it was a great women's tournament. I really enjoyed it. I thought it's put together well, and you know, I mean, they kind of got the attention this year, so we'll see if that carries over in the future, you know. So
yep. Yeah, going back to that, the ratings for that UConn Iowa game, that beat NBA Finals games.
Yeah.
It was the only game that I don't think it beat here lately was the Michigan Ohio State game.
Yeah.
So it was
crazy, right?
Yeah, it's good for them, man. I mean, it was exciting. I'll admit it was the most I've ever watched women's basketball.
Yeah,
I mean,
same here.
But it was just really skillful. I mean, Clark is really, really fun to watch. You know, Paige Beckers, Angel Reese, like you said. I mean, but much like last night's game, I think Iowa just met their match. You know, it was South Carolina was on a mission. Yeah. I mean, unbelievable. I mean, props to them and Dawn Staley. Holy cow.
Her third championship.
And I mean,
she won undefeated. 2 as a player, I think.
Yeah.
At Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, I think.
Yep. That's the GOAT of women's basketball right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
But yeah, undefeated this year after having to replace all 5 starters from last year, you know, which that team lost to Iowa in the Final Four last year. So, I mean, unbelievable. But yeah, I mean, Iowa tried to hang around, but South Carolina I think Iowa was just tired, you know, with all the media hype, and, you know, they won the Big Ten tournament and all the attention that's been around, you know, Caitlin on her scoring quest and, you know, all the records she's breaking. But I think they just got tired, and, you know, it was really exciting.
I just think, you know, so I think the Gamecocks are just a little bit more athletic than Iowa, and just it kind of like that's what caught up to him in the end was that Iowa just couldn't hang with them, in the end there. I mean, they tried. Caitlin Clark carried them, and they gave it their all. They heck of an overachievement probably for them, but yeah, great tournament, great women's tourney this year. Probably better than the men's, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we'll switch to that with the men's as UConn takes down Purdue. I mean, poor Zach Edey. That was, that dude just balled out and got no help. Smith helped him a little bit early on, but then nobody else in double figures. And just like you said, UConn is just more athletic and bigger.
Yeah, they are. They're more complete, I would say. Purdue really, I think, like I said, I think both teams that lost in the championship game, Iowa and Purdue, they rely on one player. They focus their offense on one player, and it's the team game that's going to win it in the end. So that's what won it for, UConn. Played a much better team game than Purdue did.
Plus, I just watching, I felt like Edey was all in. Not that everybody was all in, but I think everybody else but Edey was kind of scared to mess up and make a mistake or miss a shot.
They're missing a lot of shots too, though.
Yeah, that's when you're not playing. You're just, just okay. Don't screw up. You're too much in your head, and you're not just naturally reacting. And UConn took advantage of it, and
for sure.
Props off to them. I mean, Danny Hurley's got that program back on track, and I really hope he doesn't leave to go to Kentucky or any other school.
At least one Hurley can coach, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Well, I mean, the dad was pretty good.
Yeah, the other dad was good. Their dad was good. So
I'll take the other Hurley, Bobby.
As a player,
I love him for his Duke career.
True, yeah, for sure.
And, unfortunately, he had that horrible accident. When he was playing for the Kings, so his career never really got off the ground, unfortunately.
Sure.
But I wanted to go back to where you were saying the popularity with the women's tournament, right?
Yeah.
So
we've been bouncing back and forth, me, you, and T, about it's just like it's not the same for the men's tournament, except for because we don't grow attached. It's different, like with football, because the players are there for at least 3 years, until the whole transfer portal thing, go crazy and all that.
That's
BS.
true.
But in college basketball back in the day,
you had guys stay till their senior year.
Right. Except you're
speaking of Duke, Christian Laettner, Grant Hill,
exactly.
They stuck around, Well, even the Fab Five stayed until they were juniors.
And it's just like that for that first class that broke that little trend for Duke was, like I think it was Elton Brand and William Avery, and they all left early, but that's okay. Still 3 years, and at least you're over. At least you could have a beer in the freaking team hotel, not be 19 years old. I mean, do you have a curfew when you're 19 in the NBA?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe.
But I think so. So there's not as much familiarity with these teams, so it's hard to get into it. So that's where it was just like kind of watching the men's tournament this year. It's kind of like you're just hoping for a good game. There weren't like certain players that like I was hoping Edey would win a title. That kid played pretty good. But it just wasn't the same. Like you could tell those teams, have fought teeth and nail for 4 or 5 years together, and
True. Yeah, different. It's all about building the stars. I will say though, like you mentioned South Carolina, they had all new starters this year. So, props to Staley for that, because that's a rarity in women's basketball, for that to happen. So props to her for doing that with 5 new starters and building that up. Most of the time I think men's basketball has an issue with, in college with that, with building stars, Edey was probably that guy. That's the reason he won player of the year back to back. But now, you wonder, I mean, who's going to be that next guy? I don't know. You got to be pretty much a diehard to know, who's going to be, that next star in men's college basketball, and women, they'll probably get someone that was probably a sophomore that was a star this year or junior. And, they'll be a senior or junior next year and, start up. So, but I don't know. It's an issue for the men. They ought to look at that and say, man, we used to be like a ratings grabber and now we're not. So I don't know what's wrong.
I mean, that first weekend of the tournament is still one of the best.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
Sports weekends of the year. Yeah. But okay, real quick on Zach Edey. What do you think of him as an NBA prospect?
Well, I'll probably eat my words, but I don't know how he's going to adjust to the NBA game. I don't think he'll be a very good pro, and maybe that's just me talking. I mean, he's going to go high, I'm sure, but I don't know. I just don't see that guy being I think he'll be a decent pro, but what's he going to be? The next Hansbrough, Tyler Hansbrough? I don't know. I mean, I look at him and I think I don't know. I mean, the center game has changed. They don't play like that anymore in the NBA. They don't have a post-up guy. You got your center shooting threes.
Yeah, but I think he'll be a good, solid contributor.
Yeah, I agree. He ain't going to be a superstar.
No, he could be a double-double guy. I mean, sure. I think maybe a team that has another big man, a la the Sixers, for Embiid. You could give Embiid some games off and you don't really, I mean, they have Paul Reed in the middle, but that size, I mean, that still affects
for sure
things and he plays hard. I mean, that kid's got a huge chip on the shoulder. I mean, the way he called out Rick Barnes, after they beat Tennessee. The kid's got some moxie. He works hard.
Sure.
You can tell I mean, two-time
player. He improved his game. I read an article on him. He improved his game a lot, improved his footwork. And, I just don't know that style is going to be adaptable in the NBA today's game. You look at Wemby, you think about him, you think he's 7'4", same size, how is that going to adjust, but he's not a post-up guy. He can do it, but he plays more of a swingman game, and Edey, he just doesn't have, he's not, quick enough. He's not, the athletic type like that. He's like you said, I think he's a double guy. He's a 12-point, 10-board a game guy, and that's probably going to be about what he does in the NBA. So solid numbers, but superstar, I don't think. No.
Yeah, I don't think he's like a top 5 lottery pick, but I think he'll go somewhere kind of early teams. Yeah. I mean, just some teams, because there's some teams I mean, you look at the size of some teams, like Denver's got a lot of big, long length. The Lakers do. The T-Wolves do. There's a lot of length, but then you got teams like Golden State. Sacramento's a little small, so they could.
Draymond Green is starting at center. It's right. He's 6'6",
and you never know when he's just gonna. Boop,
I know, right? I know.
Do his thing, but
that's what I'm saying. That's the today's game. You mentioned the Nuggets and T-Wolves. They're winning teams. They're winning the most because they have those long, tall, athletic guys, more or less swingman. I like to say they have Jokic. I mean, you wouldn't think he's that athletic, but that dude's everywhere. If Edey can get like him, then hey, he'd be awesome. But I think Jokic is once
Jokic
was
the second round pick.
True.
There's some guys, but
no one saw it in him. So
yeah, I mean, I don't know. We'll see. Time will tell. But
sure.
I mean, even Wemby was the big hype coming into this year, and that kid has exceeded expectations.
Big
time. So I mean, you never know. Another summer of Edie working hard, and he played a ton of minutes.
True.
So I don't know. We'll see. But he hadn't been hurt in college, so that's a positive going. Because unfortunately, those big guys, that's a lot of weight and just
that's what gets them
not normal size. But with that,
play ball
for the last few weeks, baseball, has been back, and we all have our little packages set up to where we can watch as much baseball as we can. But big inning. First, we were talking about this. I think you should take the microphone and let's complain about big inning.
Well, I just don't like about the times of it. It's very I like getting it on the weekends now, but then it's an hour and a half, and you'll see they'll jump in the fifth inning of a game, and you'll see you might see the end of that one. You might not. It'll go on for an hour and a half, and then you really never see a complete game, and that's probably what it's missing. I think it probably needs to. Let's extend it. Hey, on the weekends, how about we do a 6-hour big inning? How about we do a 7-hour big inning? Or red zone 6 hours. Come on, they could do that too. 6-7 hours. I don't see why they can't.
Like you were saying, but like red zone, they don't go off the air until all the games, or until there's that one game left because of the contract.
They can't, and I get that.
Right, but okay, remember the big comeback that the Braves had in the home opener against the Diamondbacks?
Right.
There's not, if you're not a Braves fan, but you're sitting there and you could watch that on big inning, hell yeah, that's awesome. Great, but yeah, I'm with you. Open it up, have some more time. You'd probably get more viewership. So I sit down and
with it a little bit.
Yeah, if I have something to do, then maybe I only watch an hour and a half, or like my little nerd ass would do, I would just watch the game from the beginning on the replay.
And I do get it, because they're games. You have noon games, you have 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock games, and you have 6 and 7 o'clock games. So you're obviously not going to be able to cover all of those. That's just the way it works. But they could extend the time on that to at least be a little bit longer. Or like tonight, starting so late, which I get it. There are a lot of later games on tonight, but still, it's got some improvements to make, but it's a great service. I love it still. It's awesome to be able to see it at least, and for a pretty damn good price. $30 a season is pretty decent to me. That's pretty much paying $5 a month. So for getting it for 6 months. So I don't really mind that at all.
Yes, well, I appreciate T-Mobile offering the MLB TV app for free. So thank you. The best thing
they got.
Well, I mean, okay, with big inning, why not have 2 sessions? Have a day session and then a night session. I mean, because honestly, we were talking, today's game of the day was the Tigers and the Pirates.
Yeah, that was on at noon. So.
Yeah, like I said, I was watching it, and then I just happened to fall asleep. So, I mean, I don't know what's behind that. But
there you go. Come on, Tigers and Pirates, let's go. And O'Neal Cruz sat, so come on.
Yeah, exactly. So I was just like, okay, I don't know. So what are your thoughts so far early on the season? Anything standing out to you?
Yeah, ton of pitcher injuries, man. What was I reading earlier? I saved something that I took a picture of or wrote down. So there are 36 major league starting pitchers on the IL with elbow issues. There are another 16 starting pitchers on the IL with shoulder issues, 6 other with arm issues. That's 58 starting pitchers on the IL across all of Major League Baseball with some sort of arm trouble. 58. We're 2 weeks into the season right now, man. 58. And we're getting hit hard with one with Strider. That sucks if that turns out to be horrible. But, I mean, something's going on. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's a pitch clock. You see people, pitch clock? Is it that? I've heard more like it's more or less like I like Glasnow's talk. I don't know if you saw his interview from 2021, and he talked about when they banned substances, and he said, I'll be honest, I use sunscreen and a rosin a lot. He goes, and that's what helped me, a lot. He goes, it helped me grip the ball a little better, helped me throw it a little better. And, when they did a complete ban on all substances, he goes, that's what I felt hurt me. So, but it's also, these dudes are throwing harder than ever, and that motion on their arm, constantly doing it over and over,
it's the most unnatural motion in sports.
Yeah, it's taken its toll too. So it could be that too. I think there's a lot of ways you could explain it, but I don't know that we'll ever have a definite answer for why.
Yeah, I mean, these guys, like, you've mentioned, like, what, Nolan Ryan's 234.
Yeah. You want to talk about a natural? Look at those dudes, man. How?
We were talking about this. It was like, well, and it's all the high priced pitchers too. So, do you think that maybe, I don't think it's the pitch clock. Because now they did reduce the pitch clock 2 seconds with runners on, so it's now 18 seconds instead of 20. But that doesn't really do anything because these guys are going on different times anyways. And they're not using most of the pitch clock unless base runners are on, or to keep the batter and the runner off balance. But I just think it's baseball. It's like football. There were 66 quarterbacks that played last year. So, you're going to have injuries, and it's a long spring training. And then you got a long season, and then you got a long postseason. It's the wear and tear of having to pitch every 5 days. So it's like, I've mentioned it with the Braves, with UNT. Braves should try to go with the 6-man rotation, have your 5 and then have a kid pitch every, you
got the depth, do that.
Yeah.
Bring Winans up, bring the other kid, Elder up, put both of those guys now, and have a 6-man. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. You got all these dudes, put them on.
You got the Waldrop kid too. So it's tough. My dad was a pitcher, and I don't remember him ever talking about shoulder issues, but my dad's pitch was a curveball, man.
Yeah.
You want to talk about one of those old school curveballs that it would look like
it was like a screwball almost.
It looked like a fastball when it came out of his hand because he released it from the same spot, but it would look like it was coming straight at your face. And with my face as it is, I didn't need anything else hitting it to worsen that. So I would duck out of the way, and then you just see like the catcher ball right down the middle or on the inside corner. And it was just like, that's how I learned to hit a curveball. But it's tough, man. And it's weird.
You're trying to say that Jesus Christ can't hit a curveball.
That's right. I wouldn't go that far and give me that title.
You know what? I will say this though. Speaking of all that too, Dr. James Andrews, they interviewed him about it, and he said one of the things he's seen is that he's seen more injuries like that in youth pitchers and high school guys. So they're throwing a lot more and a lot harder at a younger age. So he thinks maybe that's something that's contributing to it. These guys are starting out younger doing it, and you look at a guy like Ryan, and he started out as a reliever, and when he was younger, he said, I didn't pitch a whole lot in school. I didn't, he really pitched the bulk of his stuff in the, later in his career, that's when he was putting in all the innings and putting in all the work. So his arm had been used to that. So maybe, I don't know, that that could be a reason, too.
Slowly building up his arm strength. He was able to avoid injury. But
for sure.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. I pitched a couple games in my day,
Yeah.
I do have a bad shoulder because, even I threw hard. back in my day, and just one day playing softball, simple grounder from short, to me at shortstop, and I throw it, and the ball goes like 10 feet. And since then, my arms just never been the same. I got a nice little click.
There you
throw
go.
the ball, so it's lovely. So okay, let's dabble in. We are a few games behind, so we missed our MLB preview, but we'll slowly talk about it because there are a million games. So I'm not even gonna. Well, it's not even. We know who's gonna win the NL East. Who do you? Give me a team from each league that you think might surprise us this year, a la the D-backs.
Each league or division?
No, just each league. Each league.
Okay.
One team from each league.
Oh, man, it's tough. I would say, in the AL, man, I really wanted to pick them, but I think I'm going to go with the Mariners, even though I know they haven't started off the best. But I do like the Mariners a lot. Got a nice young team, good young pitching staff too. We'll see if Castillo can actually win a game. He's 0-3 on my fantasy team right now, so that kind of sucks. But not the start I thought they'd get off to, but they were kind of one of my surprise teams in the AL, that I really liked. I would say like the Guardians too, I thought kind of could be. They got a nice young team, but I'll stick to just the league and the NL. Man, I really like the Cardinals. I thought they were going to kind of have a little comeback. Cardinals, Reds, I was kind of on the fence with both of those teams and kind of thought they could make some noise, Just some good young teams. And the Cardinals is so well ran that I thought, they're kind of due to getting back into where they're usually at, top of that division. So thought it was about time for them, but we'll see. I don't think it's been that great for them either. So, but just a couple teams I kind of feel could do something. So,
yeah, I'm with you on the Mariners. I had them as one of the last wild card, teams. But I had the Astros as that division's going to be sick. I mean, that's probably the toughest division in baseball.
Oh, for sure.
National League. I don't know. I kept going back and forth between the Cubs and the Giants. I like a lot of the teams. I think the Reds are one of those young teams, but they're still building up.
Yeah.
And the Brewers, I think, take a little step back this year. With losing Burns and Counsell going to the Cubbies. But I don't know. It just depends. It's just like every sport. How healthy are you? How are you playing at the end of the year? That really matters. But I got to say the Braves are off to a great start, and I thoroughly appreciate it.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They're by far, I think they have one of the best offenses, Them in Texas, I think, have some really good offenses. So,
that I think would be an incredible World Series. But we got to get there, and hopefully we don't.
Yeah.
Stupid Phillies. But,
I know.
Yeah. What can you do? But yeah, it's tough on the pitchers because it's really fun to watch them. So we'll see. But
yeah,
we love baseball. But with that, my man, it's right around the corner.
I know.
The NFL draft is coming up. And we all know that number one will be Caleb Williams. Do you think any team makes any aggressive move to get up to number one?
I don't think so. I know the Bears were talking about. I read something about them trading their 9th pick for more picks because I think they only have 4 picks in this draft. I believe is 4 all they 5, have.
Yeah.
So they were saying they might make a move and try to trade that 9th pick to get something else. So. We'll see if that happens. I don't know, man. I'm still I'm curious to know what's going to happen with, the Commanders and the Patriots. I'm curious to see who who they take, I don't really know, man. I'm real, I don't know who they're really liking, and it's going to be good entertainment to kind of see what those teams do with it. But man, I can't see the Commanders not taking a quarterback, and same with the Patriots. I just wonder, is it going to be Drake May? Is it going to be Jaden Daniels? Which one is it going to be for which team? I've heard more Commanders taking Drake May, but I would probably take Jaden Daniels if I was them. I just feel he'd complement that team a little better, Maybe Drake May would complement the Patriots a little better. So, but we'll see. So,
yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I feel kind of sorry for whoever goes to New England. Because they just don't have any talent, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they have talent, of course. Every team has talent, but they don't have.
The Commanders got some talent receivers. A receiver,
And Dan Quinn will get that defense right, so they'll be in a lot more games.
Sure.
But
picking up your division is shaping up to be tough again, man.
Yeah, but okay. Yeah, I mean, so it'll be interesting but whoever goes to Washington, I think, will be in a better state. But, I don't know. But all right, we'll stay in the NFC East, and let's just talk about my Giants. What do you think they're going to do at 6? Because I have my thoughts on what they're going to do.
I think they're going to take a receiver still and give Daniel Jones. I kind of like them getting Malik Neighbors. That's who I kind of feel they've been looking at. That's who I kind of feel they're going to go after. I mean, we'll see, but I don't know that they'll feel like a quarterback is valuable now. It's going to be interesting to see if JJ McCarthy doesn't get taken and he's there at their pick. I'm curious to see at that point, because I know a lot of teams are high on him, and look, I get it. Your boy Colin Cowherd hates JJ McCarthy, so there's that. Obviously,
he doesn't hate him.
He does. He's like, he's not a first round talent. He goes, he's not even. He's like a day 3 talent or some crap. He said, whatever. I don't know.
Not at 5 or 6, which
they didn't have to throw a lot, but he probably would have said the same thing about Tom Brady too. So look at that. It's all about where you go. Yeah, he wins.
And the team rallies around him, and Harbaugh has pumped him up, and so, and he's got talent, so he's led some big drives. But like you said, some games, a la Penn State, because wasn't that the first game that Harbaugh got suspended for the second time?
Yeah.
So they probably just simplified the game plan and realized we can't block Chop Robinson because he was killing Michigan, so they ran the ball a bunch.
Yeah,
but. I mean, you never know with these guys. So it's.
I agree.
I mean, hard. I'm hoping. I mean, for me, I would love to get one of the wideouts, but I'm hoping that JJ drops. Maybe someone trades up to get Harrison Jr. sooner. So if these quarterbacks drops, then I
think the
Minnesota.
Vikings are going to move up to 4. They're going to offer something to the Cardinals and get to 4. And I think they're going to.
Well, I mean, they have the most ammo other than Chicago. It's like you said, Chicago's going to trade down, so that's another hot spot for a trade.
They have a window with Jefferson, and they know they got to reach it, and they have Addison still, and we'll see what the running game brings, obviously, but I think they know they have to move and get their future, now. So I think they're going to move up and take McCarthy. So
see, I have a feeling that number 5 is the spot with the Chargers. I think that's what Harbaugh wants to do. Trade down. He get 2. Trade with Minnesota, 11 and 23, and then I don't know. They could get a tackle. Maybe Bowers is there at 11 because this draft is deep with tackles.
Yeah, it just depends what they get. They're gonna want some depth. I'm sure on their offensive line or something like that. So. It would just depend what they would get offered, who has the best offer. But if the Cardinals are picking, I mean, they're going to take Harrison, obviously at that spot. If they're still picking at 4.
Yeah, I mean, there's Denver, there's the Raiders.
Sure.
Seattle, I mean,
and you know that they're going to take a quarterback, then you're thinking, well, our receiver's still going to be there if we move down a couple spots, so why not and get some depth,
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. The draft is just tricky, I mean, teams
sure.
fall in love with certain players, and they have their draft board set, and some teams get aggressive, like what was it, the year that Mahomes got drafted by the Chiefs? It's been said that Sean Payton said he was going to draft Patrick Mahomes, but Kansas City jumped one spot in front of him. So if there's a guy you like, go get him, but
that's interesting too.
Yeah. So, I mean, some of these good teams that, feel like one piece is missing, that's where they'll give up some draft capital, like the Rams did for years. Like, they finally have a first round pick, and it's like, oh my goodness.
So what do you think the Giants are going to do?
It's got to be wide out. I mean, unless we could get up to number one. I mean, I figure if you're going to give up draft capital.
Caleb Williams is the only quarterback you'd want. You wouldn't want J.J. McCarthy? If he was there at 6.
Not at 6. Not at 6.
What if Jaden Daniels fell there? Or Drake May?
See, I like McDaniels over May.
Yeah, I like Daniels over May too.
But again, like, you just lost your best player in Saquon Barkley to a division rival, but
yeah.
So you need playmakers. I mean, Slayton had a good year last year. Hopefully.
But he's not the guy, he's not. He's a guy. He's not the guy.
No, that's our deep threat. That's our deep threat.
Sure.
So the Giants need a true number one.
He's not the alpha, though.
No, exactly.
He's
right.
the beta.
Like, they need a Justin Jefferson. They need a Jamar Chase. They need a CeeDee Lamb. And you'll have your picks. I mean, Harrison will be gone. So between Neighbors and Odunze, I don't think the Giants could go wrong either way.
I probably like Neighbors a little bit more there if I had to pick.
Well, I mean, LSU is known for putting out those wide receivers.
Yeah.
For some reason.
Yeah.
What are the Bucks going to do?
Man, that's where I'm curious, man. I've heard a lot of things, like if they're picking, I think, what is there, 23? 26, yeah. I've heard things like if like Penix might be there, I don't think he will, but if he was, man, I would be like, they better take him, but I've heard Kool-Aid McKinstry is another dude that they might get. They obviously need the defensive help. They probably really got to think about Evans' replacement soon too. I know he signed the contract, but I don't know if anyone's there. I would probably just shore up offensive line or defense. They definitely need the cornerback help, so I wouldn't mind that. I've heard of Chop Robinson might be a guy too they were looking at. So, but he's kind of more or less a Shaq Barrett replacement. Chop is, I'm sure you saw Chop in the dude looked awesome, man, at the combine. The dude looked awesome at the combine too. So I don't really take that much, I don't really take too much in that, but
But hey, it's okay to be drafting at 26. That means you won some games and you made the playoffs.
True.
Unlike me, another top 10 pick, and it's so okay.
So well, Daniel Jones is your guy, huh?
Well, I don't. He's not my guy. I didn't draft him.
Who's the coach of the Giants now? He didn't draft him either.
Dayball. No, neither did Joe Shane. Yeah, that's
exactly.
That's so and John Mars come out and said that if there's a quarterback that these guys like, take it.
I'm telling you, man. If McCarthy's there, they're gonna consider it. They're gonna really think about it.
But
I know it sounds weird.
I know, but see, something like JJ, like Minnesota's good for him because Kevin O'Connell's he's a good offensive coach, and you saw what he did with McMullins and Joshua Dobbs, and so. Oh, hold on. We have controversy.
Yeah, I was saying what they were saying. They were saying some kind of interference.
He's a left abductor strain.
No. Okay. Everything's all good. But yeah, anyway, sorry, folks. Braves are on. We get a little distracted.
Yeah.
That's probably going to happen 162 times in a year, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Oh, there's no way he's going on that. No, okay. But anyways, like I feel like the Rams are going to be aggressive, and I feel like the Rams make a big move to go get JJ McCarthy. I don't know why.
Really?
But you give
with Stafford?
JJ, let JJ sit behind Stafford for a year or two. I mean, Stafford's still productive.
I think the Vikings are going to trade up and get him. They love him, man. They love that dude. I don't know why, but
love him.
I think they do, man. I don't really see him as a Raider, really. I don't know. I mean, maybe, but I don't know.
I don't know. Could you see your boys, the Cowboys, since that's how it's been in free agency for your team,
dude?
I
don't know, man. I mean, I think they're going to shore up their offensive line. I think that's who they take. Some offensive line help because they lost, a couple guys on their offensive line. Obviously, their center and their tackles. So I could see that for sure. Them taking someone there, but I don't know, man. I'm wondering what they're doing. I don't know, man. I mean, the Eagles had a great offseason, and I mean, they're going to see what the Commanders do, and obviously, we'll see what the Giants do in the draft. What those two teams do in the draft, and the Cowboys. I just don't know, man. I think McCarthy's the issue. I don't know.
No, Jerry's the issue. Jerry's an owner. And how long? I mean, I know 3 straight years of 12 wins, but who cares? It's I don't know. And they're facing that big. What do you do? So Dak's going into this year on a 1-year contract. What do you think? Is Dak the starting quarterback for the Cowboys after next year?
No.
I
mean, it's going to depend. I've talked to the Cowboys fans and everything, and they've said, man, they've probably got to at least get to the NFC Championship. That's like that's like a must. It has to happen. And I think, man, are they better than the Niners? Are they better than the Eagles? Are they better, than a lot? They're not better. They're not better than the Packers. They got beat by them. So I'm like, the Bears made some. We're going to see what the Bears do. I mean, I don't know what the rookie QB what they do, but
yeah, but think about it. The Bears, right? Remember, they're not using their draft spot.
True, and they got Keenan Allen,
right? And
Swift, DeAndre Swift.
They had the trade for Montez Sweat. During the season, they got DJ Moore before the draft last year.
They still have Roshan Johnson to back up Swift.
Khalil Herbert, he's still there. Cole Kmet.
They got a deep team.
The Gerald Everett, and that defense got better. Jalen Johnson resigned. So the Bears, they won 7 games last year. Bagent
with Justin Fields,
Bagent as your starting quarterback. So I mean, we'll see.
If you were the Steelers, wouldn't you start Fields over Russell Wilson? Is it just the pedigree of Wilson or what that's making him a starter? Don't you got to see if you're the Steelers though?
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's tough because they got rid of Deontay Johnson. So I don't know. I mean, Russell threw 26 touchdown passes last year.
Yeah, he was decent.
So he was good. He had a good year. I mean,
You're like, I'd take that for Daniel Jones any day.
Absolutely.
I'd take his numbers.
Russell played, he played 16 games because they benched him for the last game of the year.
Right.
But I don't know, man. I can't figure them out. They spend the most money in the league on the defensive side of the ball. And so that means they spend the second less amount on the offensive side of the ball.
Right.
So I don't know. I just don't get it. But like my boy Colin Cowherd said earlier in the week, all these big name pass rushers, they get paid don't really win, even though they can affect the game, but not a lot of them, They got TJ Watt, but what? Myles Garrett.
They made the playoffs.
Yeah, but they always seem to make the playoffs, and then they get smoked.
Myles Garrett, they made the playoffs. Didn't the Steelers win in the first round? They played the Bills, right? In the second round?
Well,
in the divisional round. Steelers won.
Yeah, because they beat what? Who did they beat? Cleveland?
Was it? Shit, I don't remember now.
I don't know. It's been so long.
Either way, though, I'm saying like I get it. They don't, but I look at who won the Super Bowl, the Chiefs. Chris Jones had something to do with that. I mean, he played a big damn part in that. So, I look at it like this. Have a quarterback too. That helps.
Pittsburgh. Buffalo beat Pittsburgh 31-17 in the wild card game.
Okay. Okay. Then I was wrong. But still, have a good quarterback. That helps better than too.
Kenny Pickett or Mitchell Trubisky or Mason Rudolph. No offense to those guys, but I mean, if you look at it, Mason Rudolph had 229 yards against the Bills.
True.
Josh Allen only had 203, but
I know we didn't talk about the Stephon Diggs trade.
All right, well, let's talk a little bit about that.
What do you think about it?
Wow. I mean, Houston's all in. They're doing it. They've got it. The recipe.
Yeah.
Contract for a QB, go load up. I mean,
you got 3 more years with Stroud making nothing, so there you go.
And Anderson, your top 2 players are not really making anything.
There's your defensive pass rusher. There's your quarterback. You got the receivers.
Could you see potentially 3 1,000-yard receivers with Houston, with Collins, Tank
possibly,
and Diggs?
But they like to run the ball too.
Mm-hmm. And
D'Amico he still likes to run. He still comes from the San Fran, system where they like to run. So, I mean, it's possible.
And then
it's
still have Dalton Schultz, solid tight end. So, I mean,
they got a good team.
You saw him firsthand. That team got better.
They did, man. They did. They did. They were good, man. CJ Stroud is just, man, he was getting pressured all game and still was making just some awesome throws, man. Dude was, I mean, damn. I'm not saying they're better than the Chiefs yet, but are they better than the Bills? I mean, they might be.
Yes.
Yes. Who has more wins next year, the Bills or Texans?
Texans, because Texans are going to win that division.
Okay. You think it's a weaker division too?
No, because I think Jacksonville will rebound. I think
the Colts.
The Colts will be better. They get
Titans.
But hold on. Will the Colts be better? Because Minshew had a pretty good year, and he's now with the Raiders, and you got Anthony Richardson coming back. The kid looked great, but
can he not be it? Yeah, that's the issue.
And I mean, Jonathan Taylor,
coming back. He's coming back healthy. I mean, he will be. So we'll see.
I don't know. I think that's one of those teams, kind of like a la my Giants a couple years ago when we made the playoffs.
Yeah,
made the playoffs, and then the following year. So I think that's where you're going to see the Colts kind of. But they do have Shane Steichen, who's really good.
That's true.
Coordinator / head coach, right, Philly? Don't you miss him? Don't you miss him? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
I'm sure.
The Giants fan talk crap to an Eagles. All right. But, all right. Well, coming up on Thursday is the Masters. And we have our golf expert in-house, Mr. Ryan. So,
yes.
Give me a couple of golfers you think that you're leaning towards as favorites to contest for that jacket.
So, for some reason, I do like John Rahm this week. I think the course just plays well for him. He's kind of one of my top guys to kind of feel like, and I know like he's probably a lot of consensus favorite too a lot. But you know what? Something tells me a guy like Wyndham Clark's going to win it, even though he's a first timer. I don't know, just something. He's been playing so well lately, and I don't know. I just kind of feel like he's one of those dudes. Like my long shots are like Ricky Fowler. I like Fowler for some reason, and I mean, shit, who wouldn't want to see Tiger Woods? Come on. I mean, we all want to see Tiger Woods, and he's like my 1,000,000 to 1 shot. I'm going to place a parlay bet for Tiger Woods to win it and put $1 on it and just let it ride, and see and win a couple grand if it happens.
I mean, he won the Masters of the torn ACL. So
true.
It just seems to be that back that keeps, messing with them. And I'm hoping because he can make, I think he breaks the record for most cuts made at the Masters if he can make it to the weekend.
Yes.
And golf is better when Tiger is playing good. But like always, and I'm sure I can speak for T on this, I'm still rooting for Rory. Man. Still rooting for Rory. I love watching that dude, but I get it. I mean, golf's tough. I mean, you got
Scheffler is a good pick in there. Scheffler's been playing awesome. Yeah, I mean, look at the dude.
It's so weird. Like his putting is just up and down, and
true.
But he's a favorite. You got to think. I hate to say it, lefty man, Phil Mickelson. He played pretty good there. But,
true.
And then you got Matsuyama.
I do like Matsuyama.
I do like Xander Schauffele's been playing fantastic this year. But Wyndham Clark coming so close.
Wyndham Clark. Yeah.
I like Victor Hovland. That's another one of my guys that I like to watch.
I don't want to say it, but I kind of like Brooks Koepka too. I know y'all hate him too, but I don't know, man. It's like this course, just someone always comes out of the blue and like the. I know y'all hate him too, but I mean, I just like someone comes out of the blue and does something, and dominates this course. I know y'all hate him. I don't want him to win, but is it possible? Sure.
That and him and DeChambeau, man. No offense to these guys.
I know you hate Bryson DeChambeau.
I just don't get this extra. I get confidence, but cockiness, man. It's okay. No big deal, man. So, have you ever watched the series on Netflix, Full Swing?
No.
You should check it out.
I'll have to check it out.
Yeah, they just came out with season 2, and it's really cool. It's following the guys, leading up to the Ryder Cup in 2023. But it just shows you the life that these golfers live. But I mean, all I can hear is Ray Charles singing Georgia.
Right.
And that drive.
I'll have to watch it.
I have to play at that course, man. I don't know how, but if someone from Augusta is one of our 15 listeners, hook it up, man.
Dude, is it true the food there is pretty cheap? I always hear the rumors about it. They always talk about the menu at the Masters, that it's cheap to eat. I got to look that up. I'm curious about that. Someone had posted pictures about it, and they were saying it's very cheap.
That's sweet, though. Why not?
Yeah, someone posted it, and they said what did they say? Yeah, egg salad, $1.50. The Masters Club, $3. Soft drinks are $2. Beer, $5.
See,
at a golf course. That's
awesome.
Cheap. Yeah. Everything's pretty cheap, so.
Well, it's not as cheap as, smuggling a few beers in your golf.
Yeah, what did the ticket cost to get in, though? That's the thing.
Yeah, but, but you need fans, so make it attractive to them. So, great food prices and cheap tickets. There's enough people there for 4 straight days.
I wish the other major sports would look at that menu and say, you know what, we ought to do this too.
Yeah, there's some teams, I can't think off the top of my head, but have really cheap menu prices. Not like the Dodgers or the Yankees, where it's just $30 for a beer, you know.
Well, hell, at the
Busch-
Rangers
Busch
game, it's
Light.
what, $12, you know?
Yeah,
I mean, it ain't cheap anymore either, you know?
it ain't cheap anywhere. When I saw
Oh,
a concert
exactly.
a few weeks ago, it was $12 for a Miller Lite. It's
Yeah.
like, come on,
Well,
man.
that's what I was saying yes, WrestleMania was this last weekend. I watch it, but they were talking about the food prices, $17 for a beer. Guess how much a whole full cheesecake, because it was in Philadelphia. It was at the Link. They had like 150,000 people over the 2 days there. But a whole cheesecake was $16. A whole cheesecake is cheaper than one beer. I'm not talking a slice of cheesecake. I'm talking
Cheesecake
a whole
or cheesecake.
No, cheesecake. A whole cheesecake. You could go buy a whole cheesecake.
Who the hell is going to watch wrestling and buy a fucking cheesecake?
I don't know. Dude, come on, man. I'm not trying to say that wrestlers are, basement dwelling fat guys, but a lot of them are. They're like, cheesecake? Yeah.
You can see the Undertaker just scarfing. Do you have any raspberries? I don't like cherries.
I know, exactly.
I can't see them in the back hallway,
But yeah, I mean,
Randy Savage seeing a cheesecake. Ooh,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, dude, I mean, all in all, prices at sporting events are just way, way too much, man. It's out of hand right now. That's a whole other discussion that we could have, that just getting too out of hand. Concerts too.
I've never seen wrestling in person. I'm not the biggest fan, but yeah, it's like, I don't know, like I kind of have it in the same category as like NASCAR.
It's like dude, it's like a concert now, man. You go to it, it's like watching a concert. You yell out the phrases and, sing along to the songs. I promise you, it's like a concert now. So you'd enjoy it.
Well, speaking of concerts, you missed our last episode,
Yes.
and we've been talking about music because it's that perfect time of year, and we have our trip coming up here pretty soon with the boys' trip and Green Day and Rancid and Smashing Pumpkins and the Linda Lindas. But anyways, tell me, what's your favorite part about live music? Going to a concert or a festival or whatever. Just what is your favorite part?
Singing along to those songs you love, that's like the best part. Singing with the band and just enjoying it with other people that love it too, that's awesome. That's one of those things that, you can't replicate that feeling, it's awesome. Being able to stand there and sing along and, you're jamming out. It's just, man, it's euphoric. So, it's awesome, man.
Yeah, it is. Like T said, he said it perfect. He said one sound.
Yeah,
it's just,
exactly.
And it's just like the beat of the drum in your chest, and it just
you feel the music.
I feel the music, and it just, you can't help but reminisce and be nostalgic. And
it makes music makes you think of memories.
Absolutely.
And time. That's one of the reason people love it. That's what I wonder. Like we were talking about, like we don't like any of this current shit that's out right now, and I wonder, like 20 years from now, are they going to be singing along with Lil Nas X or whoever is, like, I mean, are they going to be like, are they going to be singing along with Drake? I don't know. Like I wonder. I don't know. I don't know. Will it be the same it was back, like when we see someone that we liked in the 90s and they'll be doing the same thing? I don't know. So,
well,
maybe
take advantage if you're like, we were saying, like we were talking about this earlier. Like, it's amazing the bands that we listened to in high school. Tons of them are still putting music out, and it's like, it's important. It should be, if you're a diehard, to go see them one last time.
Sure,
whatever it takes.
See that band, because you never know.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's the best. It's the best.
I agree.
So, with that, we talked about a lot. I think we got back into this groove of this show.
We did. We
did.
Like riding a bike.
Yeah, I mean, need some training wheels, maybe. I doubt it. We'll be all right.
Nah. We'll be good.
We've reached our hour. I think we've good night. Great to see you, Ryan. T will be back.
Yes.
T, we love you. Get better, baby. This has been the Real Tree Shaker Show.
Peace.